That's interesting. And what's the group called itself?
ABCD.
What's that stand for?
Advanced Breast Cancer Discussion Group, I think. Yeah. Or we did talk about names, but we didn't really come up with a name. But it went really, really well, and the people facilitating the group, you know, sort of fortunately kept a sort of a list of what. I mean, I am a great believer in asking questions, and I will ask the same question of different people, the same question, to see, you know, what different people's opinions are. Because a lot of the time, things like, you know, treatment for breast cancer or the other things, a lot of it is scientifically proven and all that, but a lot of it is, this worked for me, that sort of thing. And I think different doctors and health professionals have had different experiences. You know, they've all got something different to offer. But I do ask a lot of questions. I've always asked questions. And I ask other patient questions as well. Because again, sometimes they have got information that the doctors haven't got, like side effects. Things came up so they could sort of steer us a bit, because we got quite sort of heated, really. And it was wonderful. And when I compare that with the telephone group,
why didn't that work so well?
I don't know. I think I'd just been diagnosed with the secondary cancer, and a lot of the women on the phone group, they were all over the country, all ages, but all had been quite ill, a lot iller than me. Well, in my opinion, a lot iller than me. And some of them very ill. In fact, one of them died while the group was in progress. And after the first couple of weeks, I thought, oh, this is good. This is helpful. And then I started to think, oh God, is this what I'm going to have? And because it was all fairly recent, I've always tried to be as positive with them as I can be, because my mother died when my brothers were 9 and 13, and that destroyed their lives, actually, my mother dying when they did. And I think I've been so conscious of that for my own children that probably I have been too positive sometimes, actually. I don't think I'm probably as realistic as I ought to be with them, which is perhaps why they don't appear to be that worried. I started to worry, and then I decided I didn't like what was happening. I stayed till the end, and I think I participated, and I think I probably contributed, you know, quite well to the group. But I think the fact that you can't see people's faces, if you're going to be talking about things like that, I know anonymity can be good in some respects, but I think when you're talking about life-threatening things and death and all that, I think you have to see someone. You can't do it over the phone. You can't. You have to see their faces to know how they're responding to what you're saying. And I wouldn't do it again, and I wouldn't recommend anybody I know doing it either. That was just my things. I know other people don't find it like that, I'm sure, because it's not just a one-off. That's an ongoing thing, I know.
You just mentioned you talked to a counsellor.
Yeah.
We've not talked about
No,
that.
sorry. Well, that was another thing, because at the hospice, despite going to the hospice and you know, being there, it's not a place that it's easy to have quiet conversations. I mean, you can go off into a little room, actually, thinking about it.
You think you should be different to what you've been?
Well, I'm wondering now, and it hasn't even really sort of struck me till then, that maybe by being more positive about things and not making a fuss about being in pain or because I'm ill or something, maybe I'm doing them a disservice, because I'm actually giving the impression that it isn't that serious. I think that might be the case, because I know how it affected my brothers when my mother died, and I worry a lot that, you know, if I died, it would affect my children the same way as it affected my brothers. And it did effectively ruin their lives. I mean, it really did. Not just my mother dying, but lots of other things as well. There was lots of other things going on. But that was the sort of pivotal point, I suppose. So I do worry about that. So I think maybe I do. I mean, they know go to the hospice. They don't know why I go to the hospice, because isn't that for dying people? And I said, well, no, it's... And I told you the sort of things I've said. With my own children, because I see women things, but quite honestly, there's not a lot of time to go off and have quiet conversations for any length of time. You know, as I say, I do still get quite sort of days when I feel really, oh, where is me? You know, my life is ruined and all this sort of thing, which I think is quite normal. And I have bad patches, and they arranged for me to see somebody, a counsellor who I've been seeing since November, just for an hour a week, and I find that very helpful. She tries to pin me down and talk about things that worry me. It's not always, because you do, like I said, I protect my family and my partner. You protect yourself as well, really. You try not to think about things if you think they're going to be upsetting.
Do you talk about that to the counsellor?
Yeah.
So do you find that you can go beyond things? You know, because we were talking earlier and you were saying there comes some point where you don't want to think anymore.
Yeah.
Something. Do you feel you're getting a bit pushed too far to think about things?
She's got a good memory, so if I don't want to talk about anything more, she remembers and brings it up later.
Mind?
No, because sometimes by mentioning it briefly, something that is fine. Before they are very bright and they pick up on things very quickly. We've always been a family that actually did talk about things. At one time I worked as a family planning nurse, so we used to talk about sort of some of the taboo subjects as dinner table talk, like sex and, you know, contraception and things. And so when I did speak to them about it, I found it quite easy to talk to them. Though I did make the mistake of not telling everybody everything right at the start, because I thought the youngest one was too young. I think really it's difficult. It depends on the patient. It depends on the children, really. I'm quite articulate. My children are quite bright and quite articulate. So you can talk to about them about most things, but not everybody is that articulate themselves. And despite all of that, when I was first having treatment for breast cancer, I did actually get the breast care nurse where we used to live to come and actually talk to my children about the disease and answer any questions or worries that they had. And I found that quite helpful for me, but also I think they found that quite helpful. And I think maybe it put their minds at rest. And we didn't talk about things a lot after that. By mentioning it, even if you don't go into it deeply then, it makes it easier to approach another time.